Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been 11 months since I moved from Kenya to Canada, and in today's video I am just going to share my experiences, what I wish I knew, the surprises, the lessons, the struggles, and it's just been a roller coaster, and I am happy to share this with anyone that's moving or someone who is just curious to know about life in Canada. So keep watching if you'd like to know more. Let's do a last one. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been 11 months since I moved from Kenya to Canada, and let me tell you, it's been a roller coaster. Today, I'm sharing what I wish I knew, the surprises, the struggles, the biggest lessons. If you're thinking of moving or just curious about life in Canada, keep watching. As per usual, I have my notes with me, and oh my goodness, every time I start speaking English, inapotea. Every time I put a camera, kizungu, inaenda direction, ikienda direction. But let's try, let's see how it's gonna be today. Ama tu ni relax kidogo. I have a slight headache right now, but we shall conquer. Anyways, so what are the things that I wish I knew before I moved here? I've done videos before and I've talked about the things I wish I knew. I've talked about different things, but today we're just going to dive directly into the expectations versus reality. Because of course I had different expectations moving from my country, and I just knew I was going to be rich. Like, I think that's the first thing that I thought about. Like, everyone growing, like, especially in the generation that we live in right now, we are always thinking about how can I be rich overnight. Honestly, that doesn't work, but we still dream of becoming rich. Like, we look at life on the social media and we're just like, exactly, like this girl is living, this girl has moved from here to here, like I just want to be like them. And that's exactly what ran in my mind. I was like, once I leave Kimkungi like this and I step hapo kwa JKIA and it says Kwaheri Kenya, it's Kwaheri poverty. Like, Kenya is not poverty, but my poverty, like your brokenness, nini. I was just saying Kwaheri, like I'm not looking back to Kusota. I am going to be like, that's the first expectation that I had, that once I move to Canada, once I step my foot in Canada, it's gonna be different, but it really doesn't go like that. Anyways, first thing is the cost of living. I knew, of course, that the cost of living here was going to be different from the cost of living back at home, but I forgot that, like, if the cost of living is high, so your expectation, the expectations that you have to bring in are also supposed to be high. So kama ni expensive, like houses are expensive, like the basic house that you're living in is expensive, then that means you have to have more money. But I used to expect that, you will get here and you will have money to afford that just by just the time that you get here. But everything does take time. And that's like a very big lesson that I learned. Like, everything does take time, because when I first moved here, I didn't live on my own. I was accommodated for a month and I had to start working immediately, because one mistake that I made, I did not come with money. So no vile nilikuwa nimeexpect tu ukitoka hivi kwa JKIA, ukifika hivi tunaanza kuplug pesa hapo hivyo, ukikanyaga tu hapo karibu Canada unaanza kuplug pesa, you start plugging pesa. Like, you expect to see, like, abroad money grows on trees. That's what we used to imagine. Honestly, let's not lie to each other, but we used to imagine that once you get abroad, like our relatives living abroad, they just have money all the time. But we never thought about the process of how they get money. So I thought, I'll get there, I'll get my own house, I'll get this, I'll get that, but it didn't happen overnight. Another thing, expectation versus reality. What did I think about the people here? I didn't think that the people are going to be kind, because on the media most of the time they talk about racism. I don't like talking about this topic. I haven't been affected directly, or I do not want to talk about my experiences with racist people, because I haven't experienced so many racist people, even though I have experienced racist people. So at first you may think, oh, everyone is going to look at me as a Barbie doll because I have a different skin color. But it's not like that. Some people are gonna look at you as a Barbie doll. Some people are gonna look at you as oh, she's so pretty. I want to know more about, oh, how can I touch your hair and whatever, like things like those. And then there's people who are just gonna be like, oh, she's black and she doesn't know this, she doesn't know that. She comes from Africa. Do they even have food? Like, there's definitely, people are different, and I'm not gonna say that the people here are better than the people in Kenya, or the people in another part of the world are better than the people in Kenya where I come from. I feel like people are just people. Color does not make people different. And there's a certain group of people, there's a community of people that I have met here who are not originally from here, but they treat people differently and they treat their people better. And I feel like that's what happens everywhere. Even in our tribal settings back in Kenya, like, I feel like that's what happens. Like, you will tend to favor the people from your tribe. You'll tend to favor the people of your color. And I don't think that's a nice thing to do. And so I feel like there's people in Kenya who have the same trait. There's people here who have the same trait. And that's what I have learned in the past 11 months. And there's places I went to, like seeking for jobs, and I was treated differently just because of how I looked. So that's something that I didn't expect. I didn't, like, at first I thought, oh, I am like a unique person because of my color, and this is how I'm gonna be treated. Maybe people are going to be kind because they're just curious to know, but some people are just frowning at you and you're like, nimedu. And then the work culture, like, one thing that I learned here, there is jobs. Like, back at home there's jobs, but there's also, like, there's a certain pattern. Like, you'd say mtu mwenye anafanya hii kazi, they're gonna be doing better than mtu anafanya hii kazi. Like, this person doing this job does better than a person doing this job. It's the same here, but it's not the same at the same time, because I feel like anyone that has a job can afford all the basic needs. And there's a limited gap between the rich and the poor, and that's what I see here. Like, I live in a small town, and I also work at a place where I get to interact with different people every day. So the trend that I see and the spending culture that I see with the people that I interact with every day, it's just, anyone that has a job can afford all the basic things, can once in a while eat out. But then there's a difference if you come from somewhere where the gap between the rich and the poor is very big, that this certain people can afford this lifestyle, but there's people who can't even afford to keep up with their day-to-day life. So I feel like there's a balance. Like, with the jobs, there's people who have the minimum wage, but they can still get houses they can afford. They can still get clothing, the same clothing that you are getting, and you earn so much money. So it's just about how are you balancing your budgets. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I think. Like, so far, that's what I have gathered, that almost kila mtu, there's a level of how people here live. It's totally different from back at home. The things that you would think, oh, that's only for the rich, here it's mostly just for almost everyone can afford the basic things. That's something that I've seen. But I come from a country where not everyone can afford the basic things, and you have to be somewhat privileged to afford basic things. I hope it makes sense there. So number 2 is the biggest lessons and adjustments, like the biggest things that I've had to adjust to. Weather. Like today, it's gorgeous outside. I'm seated like in front of my door and I can see like the grass is brown. It's like we're just getting into spring and we're just coming out of winter. That was brutal. That was brutal. Why was it going all the way to minus 35? So unnecessary. Like, that's so unnecessary. I had never in my life experienced such brutal weather. Like, it gets really, really, really cold. Like, when I say cold, one day I was walking and I was literally freezing. Never, like, I've worn shoes, socks, gloves, everything, but like just thinking about it makes me get chills because it was cold. My ears were cold, my hands are cold, my feet are cold, and you know, like my emotions are so all over the place, and I feel like crying, but I can't cry because I am so frozen. My face is so frozen that I can't even cry. You understand? Like, I cannot explain how cold it gets. So it was really cold. Like, the weather is extreme. But the beauty of it all is experiencing different seasons. I was so happy to finally experience different seasons. I came here in April last year. I landed here on 19th of April, and it was still cold outside comparing to where I was coming from, because our weather holds steady between 25 degrees and 30, maybe 33 or 35 degrees back at home. And that's, sometimes it goes to maybe 20 to 35 degrees. And that's like a decent, you know, summer weather. And that's what, like, even if it's raining, if it gets really warm, it gets really cold, maybe it's gonna go all the way to -16, and we're like, oh, we need to get inside, kuna baridi, it's freezing outside. So can you imagine -35? That's cold. So when I got here, I think it was still below 10 degrees because it was just getting to spring and then summer. So it was cold. When I just got out of the building at the airport, oh, nikasikia tu baridi. Like, my head was just like, what is this? It was really cold. And then that was spring, and then slowly it started warming up, and the air is really dry, and so when it warms up, it's also very harsh on my skin, and my skin looked really terrible. Like, I don't know if it's purging or just breaking out. Like, this whole part was broken out, this whole part was breaking out, and my skin, it was too harsh on my skin because the air is dry and the heat is just too much. So because, I don't know, like, it's just a different kind of warmth. It's not like the warmth that I was used to. So it was really harsh on my skin. And then after the really warm weather, we went to autumn, and the colors were so beautiful. And then after that, we went straight into winter, and winter was brutal. I do not want to think about that. And that's why I want to be outside almost every day. I have to get activities to get me outside because I do not want to stay inside. I've stayed inside for so long because of that cold weather. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. So another thing about jobs here that I didn't know is that you are paid per hour and not per month. You know, that's different from home. Like, back at home, most of the jobs that we do there, we are paid per month. So you just have your monthly wage, like your 30 days or 31 days that you've worked, to 28 days, depending on the month. You're just going to get like a monthly salary. Here it's different. You don't get a monthly salary. You get paid per hour, and you are paid after 2 weeks. That's a different thing. Like, I didn't know. And some jobs even pay like at the end of the week, and you're paid per hour. So every hour counts. So every hour that you're not at work, you're not being paid. Can you imagine that? Every hour that you're not at work, you're not being paid. So if you think, oh, I have 1 week, I have 1 week off, and then the next week is pay week, you're just being paid for that week. And you're not being paid for the week, you're paid for an hour. So if your salary is usually, say, $19 per hour, and you worked for 10 hours, 190, and that's exclusive, like, that's before they deduct the taxes. So you have to be very watchful of your hours so that you know, okay, I worked for this many hours, so this is how much I'm going to earn. Simple. That's interesting also, because it's totally different from home, where you just have a fixed salary, and you know, if my salary is 30,000 per month, I'm going to earn 30,000 per month regardless of the days that I missed or whatever. Sasa nikikuwa mgonjwa, bado tu nitarudi nitapatiwa hiyo 30,000 per month. But here sometimes umekuwa mgonjwa, bora utaonekana kazini, haujafanya kazi, haulipwi. Sasa wewe mwenyewe ni kuamua, like you have to decide. I have to put my sickness behind. I have to be on my supplements so that I stay healthy because I need these hours to get this money. And then social life. My social life has really changed. I have been more active on social media because that's where I get to connect with people. That's where I get to talk to people. And the motivation behind these YouTube videos is I do not have people to talk to. So I talk to you people. So please, if you see my videos, come and interact with me because you are the people that I talk to. If my video pops up on your screen, you better watch because this is the only way I get to socialize. One way I get to socialize is getting out of my house and going to work. The second way I get to socialize is getting out of my house and going to the meeting or to church. So no other way of socializing. I don't have friends. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have nothing. So I'm always in my house, and I have a few friends that I've made from work, and sometimes when we want to hang out, our schedules are clashing. So when I am off work, they are working, and when I am working, they are off work. So we just don't get to interact, and those are the only friends I've made because my life is just kazi, nyumbani. Like I'm just at home and at work. So, and if I'm not at home, then I'm at the meeting, and if I'm not at the meeting, then I'm at my house. If I'm not in my house, so it's just rotational. It's like my life is really programmed, and I don't like that bit about the socializing. And there's no, like, I don't have my relatives here, and I don't have people that I can just show up at their house and say, you know, I just came to hang out. I was bored at my house. I just wanted to come and hang out. Like the way I used to have so many friends in Nairobi, I'd just be like, yo, I'm coming to your house this weekend because I'm bored. I want us to catch up. Faith, I want to come. I want you to come over home. Like, let's go for brunch. Let's do this. Like, so there isn't, I really miss my friends because making friends, like I have so many friends back in Kenya. I can't say so many friends. I have a few friends, like a handful, but like the people that I get to hang out lots with. And the other friends that I have don't even live in the same town as I do. Like Doro lives 5 hours away from me. So we get to see each other once in a while. And everyone is like, oh, what do you mean you don't have friends yet? Doro also lives in Canada. She lives in Canada. She lives in Saskatchewan, but she lives in Regina and I live in North Balford. It's like 5 hours away. So we don't even get to see each other so much. And I haven't really made friends, and cultural difference does not help. So like, what are we gonna be talking about as friends? Think about that. What are we gonna be talking about as friends? Because we are from totally different cultures, and the things that I like doing, they probably don't, and the foods and whatever. But I've started making some friends who, like, we enjoy the same kind of foods and same kind of things, and I bring my friends to church and stuff like that, and it's really helping too. And yeah, it's getting better with time, but when I first came here, it was totally hard. And I tried to like talk to some people from different cultures, and I had one person comment, did you just leave your country to come here, and why don't you go back to your country? And I was like, that's rude. I don't want to talk about that. Okay, so food and lifestyle. I've already talked about like different kinds of food. Of course, the food is never gonna taste the same as the food at home, so you better learn to live with it. I work in a place where I get to try different foods, and that's beautiful because I have gotten some favorite Canadian foods. The one that stands out right now is poutine. Like, if you don't like your poutine, I don't know what you're eating. I like the poutine. I like the poutine, especially the poutine at Blend Kitchen and Bar. I feel like that's the best poutine. I've tried poutine different places, but that poutine, ooh, just thinking about it right now, I want to like get off the phone and order. I like that poutine. And like different salads. I never used to be big on salads, but moving here nowadays, I just want to eat salads all the time. So I've also started liking salads. I am still trying to like coffee. I am still trying to like coffee. It's been 11 months. I still don't like coffee. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a problem. Maybe I'm just too Kenyan for coffee. Maybe I just like my tea. So yeah, I've been trying different Canadian foods and I have learned to make some, and I am slowly being Canadianized. So what are some of my struggles and challenges? I think from every topic I've been tackling my struggles and challenges. I've talked about racism, I've talked about like making friends, I've talked about just loneliness in general. I totally miss my friends and family back at home, but since I decided to come and live here, we just have to like devise methods of staying in touch, like chatting, scheduling for calls, like just talking about things that we share in common and stuff like that. I like talking about the Bible, and I connect to the community that likes talking about God too, and that's a beautiful thing. And I like to make my friends know that I try to be Bible centered in everything that I do. I want to involve God in it. So I create a community around that. And even the new people that follow me just know that this is the kind of life that I live. And if you knew me like a few years ago, you'd be like, oh, that's a changed person. Yeah, life is just like that. The only thing that's constant is change. Change is constant. Like we always evolve and change. And then what is still hard for me? The thing that is still hard for me is loneliness. How do I deal with loneliness? How do I deal with loneliness? How do I change? I don't know, like it's really hard. Like, how do I deal with loneliness? That's something that's been hard, like over the years. Like I'm just like, sometimes I just sit and I'm like, I am so lonely. I miss home. I miss my mom. I miss my sister. I miss my dad. I miss my brothers. I miss my sisters. I miss my sisters in Christ. I miss my friends. I miss my cousins. I miss, it's just, what can I do about it? And then I get people saying, can you invite me? I want to invite you guys. I wish the immigration process was just easy. Like, I wish you could just hop on the next plane and come here. Because I'm so lonely. I miss you guys. Yeah, so also I live in a small town, and most Kenyans wouldn't want to live in this town. I know you guys. I know you Kenyans. I know you very, very well. I hear there's a Kenyan girl who lives here. I've never even met her, but I know there's a Kenyan girl who lives here. That's only one Kenyan. Most of the Black community here is Nigerian. They go to the same church, they do the same things, they hang out. They have like a bigger church in Saskatoon, which is like an hour and a half from here. Like there's so many Nigerians, and Nigerians always have like so much togetherness. The Kenyan community here is, where's the Kenyan community? Where's the Kenyan people? Where are the Kenyans? Which provinces are you guys living in? Do you guys want me to come there? I miss Kenyans. I miss speaking Swahili. I miss coming together with Kenyans and just like doing our Kenyan things. Where are the Kenyans? Wakenya mko wapi? Like, where are the Kenyans? I know you guys wouldn't live here. Like, I was trying to invite one of my friends like from Kenya to come here, and he straight up told me, oh, I've been told that's such a boring town. Sawa. So what do you want me to do? Cool. It's a boring town, but this is where I live. Are you guys never coming here just because it's a boring town? So I don't have the Kenyan community. All the Africans I've met are not from Kenya, not even from East Africa. If I continue waiting on my thing to charge, I'm gonna cry. So instead of crying, I just said, let me come, and I need another stand. Honestly, it's so frustrating not to have a stand that can just like work throughout, because my stand just went off, but I'm gonna answer that question that I wanted to. Got my book, and the question was, am I happy? And I was just saying, I am finally happy to, like, I'm happy to finally own my own, to have my own place, to have independence, and like to have a job that I enjoy doing while still looking for other jobs. And Also, I'm happy about my future plans. I'm happy that I took the risk to move to a new country, and I am just grateful for the experience. I do not take this for granted. Like God moving me from one different side of the world to another side of the world, it's something that I do not take for granted. So I am so grateful for that. Despite the ups and downs, I am so grateful. So that's it and done. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know how I ended up finishing the video here because I feel like the lighting here is even cuter. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please engage with the video, and until next time, bye. I love you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me on Instagram, YouTube, and all my social media, because I do not take that for granted, and I really enjoy interacting with you guys. Have a good day, night, evening, and whatever you do, always remember to do in the glory of God. Thank you so much. And in everything you do, always remember to do in the glory of God, because there's no other life other than living in his under his grace and everything that he's doing to us. So until next time, bye guys. God bless.